today I'm going to talk to you about using kettlebell effectively, and we're going to talk about the kettlebell swing as the most foundational use of this equipment. So the beautiful thing about kettlebells is that it's a really good way of training the whole body, and also very good for training the glutes, which will then create a strong stability more distally throughout the chain. Okay, because all movement is exploding out from this region, and that's an explosive pattern. What you don't want to happen is have some sort of back pain occur during your training, and that's usually a good indication that somewhere along the line you've got a compensation pattern happening, where essentially the movement isn't starting in the right place neurologically and exploding outwards. Instead it's imploding inwards, and that's why you're getting this pain here, because this muscle's doing too much and this muscle's not doing enough in the majority of cases. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is talk about the stance. You have a nice narrow stance as opposed to a more flared out stance with a squat. That being because we're talking about hip flexion more so than knee flexion. So we're going to be soft in the knees, and we're going to essentially have two positions in this lift. We're going to have the top position, at which point we're going to have a squeeze in the glutes, and that's what's going to be providing stability higher up the chain. And then at the bottom position, we've got a hip hinge. So lifted chest, soft in the knees, but most of the flexion's happening here at the hips. Okay, the role of the glutes is simply to squeeze out of this position up into the top position, fully neutral, locking out at the top. The role of the core, or in this case, the breathing, is to inhale into the belly here to give more stability to the low back, so that we can then explosively exhale and squeeze up into our top position again. Okay, so once again, narrowing the stance, lifted in the chest, and using the breathing, we're just going to start slowly by lifting the kettlebell out in front of us, just slightly, and that will provide the first swing to then provide momentum to build up to the second, third. Okay, so it should be inhale, and then exhale to the top. Okay, good. If done correctly, you should feel an activation of the glutes on every rep, and that's what we're really looking for. Okay, this is not an exercise for the low back. All the low back is doing is isometrically holding its position. There is no lifting going on in the back. Every piece of the drive is happening here firstly. Okay, so that's the most important thing. Other things to note, or sort of a development you can think about. Well, this is not a squat, so we're not going to be squatting the way up powerfully. There's less knee flexion than hip flexion. So it almost should feel like the weight is pulling the chest down, and you should feel like a shifting momentum as the kettlebell goes past midline. Other than that, the hands want to be nice and loose, and try and drive up into the last third of the lift to get the completely weightless feeling at the top of the rep. If you want to get even more glute activation, you can lift the toes off of the floor, grounding your heels,